Jack Harper crouched behind a charred vehicle, his keen eyes scanning the desolate landscape. The once bustling city was now a graveyard of twisted metal and crumbling buildings, shrouded in an eerie silence. Beside him, his team of seasoned mercenaries awaited his signal, their faces etched with determination and exhaustion. "Move out," Jack whispered into his comms, his voice barely above a murmur. The team moved with practiced precision, fanning out into the shadows. Jack's heart pounded in his chest, not from fear, but from the unnerving silence that accompanied the Xandrian weapons. As they advanced, the alien patrol came into view. Tall, imposing figures with glistening blue skin and an almost serene calmness. The Xandrians moved in perfect sync, their weapons emitting no sound, not even the faintest hum. Jack raised his hand, signaling his team to prepare for the ambush. In a blur of motion, they struck. Human weapons roared to life, breaking the silence with deafening blasts. Yet, the Xandrians' response was soundless, their weapons flashing with lethal precision, but without a single audible cue. Jack's team fought valiantly, using every bit of cover and tactic they knew. Amidst the chaos, Jack's eyes locked onto a Xandrian soldier, who seemed as confused by the human weapon sounds as Jack was by their silence. Seizing the moment, Jack lunged forward, grappling with the alien and managing to subdue him. As the skirmish wound down, the remaining Xandrians retreated, leaving their captured comrade behind. The silence that followed was almost as jarring as the battle itself. "Secure the prisoner," Jack ordered, his gaze never leaving the alien soldier. The team moved swiftly, binding the Xandrian with restraints designed for their physiology. Jack crouched beside the prisoner, noting the bewilderment in the alien's eyes. "Why are your weapons so silent?" Jack demanded, hoping for some insight. The Xandrian's response was a series of clicks and guttural sounds, incomprehensible to human ears. Frustration gnawed at Jack, but he refused to give in. A flash of headlights announced the arrival of Commander Sarah Whitman, her armored vehicle coming to a halt nearby. She stepped out, her presence commanding respect and attention. "Report," she said briskly, her sharp eyes taking in the scene. "We captured one," Jack replied, gesturing to the bound alien. "Their weapons, they make no sound." Sarah's brow furrowed. "Interesting. Let's get him back to base. We need to understand this technology." Her gaze shifted to the Xandrian. He could be the key to turning this war around. As they loaded the prisoner into the vehicle, Jack's mind raced. The silence of the Xandrian weapons was more than a tactical advantage, it was psychological warfare. The absence of sound sowed confusion and fear among his team. They needed answers, and fast. Back at their hidden base, the team gathered around the interrogation room. The Xandrian sat restrained, still exuding an aura of calm despite his captivity. Jack and Sarah entered the room, ready to begin the interrogation. "Can you understand me?" Sarah asked, her voice firm but not unkind. The alien's eyes flickered, and to their surprise, he nodded. Sarah exchanged a glance with Jack before continuing. "Why are your weapons silent?" The Xandrian hesitated before speaking in halting English. "Sound, dampened. Technology, advanced." His voice was low, almost a whisper, yet every word was clear. Jack leaned forward. "Why? Why go to such lengths?" "Silence, strategic," the Xandrian replied. "Psychological, edge. Fear, confusion." Sarah nodded thoughtfully. "Who are you?" The alien's eyes met hers. "Xalax. Warrior, of Xandria." Sarah's expression softened slightly. "Xalax, we need to know more about your technology. Will you help us?" Xalax's gaze shifted between Jack and Sarah, uncertainty flickering in his eyes. "Why should I trust humans?" Jack spoke up, his voice steady. "Because we both want this war to end. Help us, and we might find a way to achieve that." Xalax seemed to ponder this, the room's silence growing heavy with anticipation. Finally, he nodded. "I will help." Relief washed over Jack, but he knew this was just the beginning. Understanding the Xandrian technology could tip the scales in their favor, but it also meant navigating a fragile alliance. He stood, ready to delve deeper into the mysteries of their enemy's silence. The makeshift interrogation room hummed with quiet anticipation. Xalax, the captured Xandrian warrior, sat restrained in a metal chair, his blue skin reflecting the dim light. Jack Harper and Commander Sarah Whitman stood opposite him, their expressions a mix of curiosity and determination. "Let's begin," Sarah said, her tone steady. She leaned forward, her eyes locked onto Xalax's. "We need to understand your technology. Start with the sound-dampening weapons." Xalax's gaze flickered, a mix of defiance and curiosity. "Our weapons, designed to be silent. Sound dampening, creates psychological advantage. Humans, rely on noise." Jack nodded, noting the alien's halting but clear English. "Why use silence against us? Is it just for confusion?" "Silence disorients," Xalax explained, his voice low. "Humans panic without sound. Easy to control battlefield." Sarah exchanged a glance with Jack. "And what about your mission here on Earth? What are your orders?" Xalax hesitated, then spoke. "Xandrian High Command seeks resources. Earth, rich in minerals. Humans, an obstacle." Jack's jaw tightened. "So we're just in your way? What happens if we don't resist?" "Humans, relocated," Xalax said simply. "Survival, possible. Cooperation, preferable." Sarah leaned back, processing the information. "We can't just roll over and let you take our planet," she said firmly. "There must be another way." Xalax's eyes met hers with a hint of sympathy. "War, not my choice. Orders, follow or die." Jack stepped forward, frustration simmering beneath his calm exterior. "We're not giving up. If there's a chance for peace, we need to find it." Xalax's gaze softened slightly. "Peace, difficult. Trust, rare. But possible." The door to the interrogation room opened, and Zara, the Xandrian defector, walked in. Her presence immediately added another layer of tension. She eyed Xalax warily before turning to Sarah. "I've decrypted some of their communications," Zara reported, handing Sarah a tablet. "Their next target is a major resource depot near the old city ruins." Sarah studied the information, her mind racing. "We need to move quickly. Xalax, will you help us? Your knowledge could save lives." Xalax looked between them, his expression unreadable. "If help leads to peace, I will." Jack felt a surge of hope. "We'll need you to guide us through the Xandrian defenses. Can you do that?" Xalax nodded slowly. "I can. But trust must be earned." Sarah placed a reassuring hand on Jack's shoulder. "We'll handle this together. Let's prepare the team." They moved swiftly, gathering their gear and briefing the rest of the squad. The mission was risky, but with Xalax's assistance, they had a fighting chance. Jack watched Xalax closely, noting the alien's calm demeanor despite the uncertainty of his situation. As they loaded into the armored vehicle, Jack took a seat beside Xalax. "Why did you agree to help us?" he asked, genuinely curious. Xalax looked out the window, the ruins of the city passing by. "I see potential for peace. War, endless. Suffering, too great. Humans, fight for home. Understandable." Jack nodded, appreciating the honesty. "We're not so different, you and I. Just soldiers following orders." Xalax's eyes met Jack's, a silent understanding passing between them. "Yes. Different worlds, same struggles." The vehicle rumbled to a halt near the old city ruins. The team disembarked, moving with practiced efficiency. Xalax took the lead, guiding them through the debris and into the enemy territory. The air was thick with tension, every shadow a potential threat. As they approached the resource depot, Xalax signaled for them to stop. Guards, ahead. Silent approach, necessary. Jack and his team moved quietly, their movements precise and coordinated. The silent Xandrian weapons remained a haunting memory, but they trusted Xalax to guide them. They infiltrated the depot, neutralizing guards with minimal noise. Inside, the scale of the Xandrian operation became apparent. Machinery hummed, extracting valuable minerals from the earth. Jack's eyes narrowed. They couldn't let this continue. Sarah and Zara worked quickly, planting explosives at key points. Xalax provided vital information, pointing out critical infrastructure to target. As they set the last charge, an alarm blared, shattering the silence. Move! Jack shouted, leading the team toward the exit. Xandrian soldiers poured into the depot, weapons at the ready. A firefight erupted, the noise deafening after the previous silence. Xalax fought alongside them, his loyalty clear. They made their way out, but the Xandrians were closing in. Just as it seemed they would be overwhelmed, the charges detonated, rocking the ground with a series of powerful explosions. They emerged into the night, breathless but victorious. The depot was in ruins, a significant blow to the Xandrian war effort. Jack turned to Xalax, gratitude and respect in his eyes. You did it, Jack said, clapping Xalax on the shoulder. You helped us strike a major blow. Xalax nodded, a faint smile on his lips. Peace, one step closer. The command center buzzed with activity as Jack Harper and his team prepared for the critical infiltration mission. Xalax, the Xandrian defector, stood beside him, an enigmatic figure amidst the chaos. His calm demeanor contrasted sharply with the urgency in the room. Here's the plan, Sarah Whitman announced, projecting a holographic map of the Xandrian base. We'll enter through this service tunnel. Xalax will guide us past the primary defenses. Our goal is the central command hub. Once we plant the explosives, we get out fast. Jack nodded, his mind racing through the details. Every move had to be precise. Xalax, any last-minute tips? Xalax's blue eyes scanned the map. Security, tightest near hub. Guards, loyal. Expect resistance. Understood, Jack replied, appreciating Xalax's candor. Let's move out. The team assembled their gear and boarded the armored transport. Jack sat across from Zara, who was meticulously checking her equipment. She noticed his gaze and met it with a cold, determined expression. Are you ready for this? Jack asked. Zara nodded curtly. I've waited a long time for this. The Xandrians took everything from me. This is my chance to strike back. Jack sensed the weight of her words. We're all in this together. Let's make it count. The vehicle rumbled to a halt near the designated entry point. The team disembarked, moving swiftly and silently through the shadows. Xalax led them to the service tunnel, his knowledge of the base's layout proving invaluable. Inside, the tunnel was dimly lit, a labyrinth of pipes and wires. Xalax guided them with confidence, his every step purposeful. They encountered their first checkpoint, a pair of Xandrian guards. Xalax signaled for the team to stop. Let me handle this, he whispered. Xalax approached the guards, speaking in their native tongue. The exchange was brief but tense. Jack watched, muscles coiled, ready to strike if needed. To his relief, the guards stepped aside, allowing them to pass. Nicely done, Jack muttered as they moved deeper into the base. They navigated several more checkpoints, each encounter heightening Jack's respect for Xalax. The alien's loyalty was evident, and his presence inspired a fragile hope. As they neared the central hub, the corridors grew narrower, the air thick with anticipation. Just ahead, Xalax indicated. Be ready. The team pressed on, reaching a heavy, reinforced door. Sarah set to work, hacking the security panel. Minutes felt like hours as the door slowly creaked open. Inside, the command hub was a hive of activity, Xandrian officers monitoring screens and issuing orders. Go, Sarah whispered. The team moved in, executing their plan with military precision. Jack and Zara planted explosives at strategic points, while Xalax provided cover. The Xandrian officers, taken by surprise, scrambled to respond, but the team's swift action left them little chance. Just as they completed their task, an alarm blared. Red lights flashed, and a siren wailed. The base sprang to life, Xandrian soldiers converging on their location. "Time to go!" Jack shouted, motioning for the team to retreat. They fought their way through the narrow corridors, the sound of battle echoing around them. Zara led the charge, her fierce determination evident in every move. Jack stayed close to Xalax, ensuring the aliens' safety. They burst out of the command hub, racing back towards the service tunnel. As they reached the tunnel entrance, a squad of Xandrian soldiers blocked their path. The firefight was intense, each side giving no quarter. Xalax, caught in the crossfire, fought bravely alongside the humans, his resolve unwavering. "Xalax, cover us!" Jack ordered, his voice strained with effort. Xalax nodded, taking up a defensive position. His silent weapon flashed, neutralizing threats with precision. The team pushed forward, breaking through the enemy line. Just as they reached the tunnel, a Xandrian officer emerged, targeting Xalax. "Look out!" Zara screamed, but it was too late. Xalax was hit, crumpling to the ground. Jack's heart sank. He dragged Xalax into the tunnel, determined not to leave him behind. "We're not losing you now," he muttered. The team retreated through the tunnel, the sound of explosions and gunfire receding behind them. As they emerged into the open air, the Xandrian base erupted in a series of massive blasts. The ground shook, and a plume of smoke rose into the sky. They reached the extraction point, where the transport awaited. Jack laid Xalax gently on the floor, assessing his injuries. The alien's breathing was shallow, but his eyes remained focused. "You did well," Xalax whispered, his voice weak. Jack clasped Xalax's hand. "You did too. We couldn't have done this without you." Sarah approached, her expression one of grim determination. "We need to get him back to base. He saved our lives." The team boarded the transport, racing back to their hidden base. Jack watched over Xalax, his mind heavy with the events of the mission. They had struck a significant blow, but at a great cost. The command center was a whirlwind of activity as Jack Harper and his team prepared for their most daring mission yet. Xalax, despite his injuries, had insisted on joining the briefing, his resolve as unyielding as ever. "Intel confirms the Xandrian High Command is holding a summit at this location," Sarah Whitman explained, pointing to a holographic map of a fortified bunker deep within enemy territory. "This is our chance to decapitate their leadership and force them to the negotiating table." Jack's eyes met Xalax's. "Are you up for this?" Xalax nodded, his blue eyes steely. "I must see this through." The team geared up, checking their weapons and equipment with meticulous care. The atmosphere was tense but focused, each member understood the stakes. They boarded the transport, the journey to the enemy stronghold shrouded in a heavy silence. As they neared their destination, Jack felt a familiar mix of anticipation and dread. The fortified bunker loomed ahead, a monolith of alien architecture. The transport halted, and the team disembarked, moving swiftly and silently through the shadows. "Xalax, you lead," Sarah instructed. "We're counting on your knowledge." Xalax nodded, taking point. The entrance to the bunker was heavily guarded, but Xalax knew a hidden access route. They slipped through narrow passageways, avoiding patrols with practiced ease. Inside the bunker, the air was thick with the hum of alien machinery. They navigated through the labyrinthine corridors, Xalax's familiarity with the layout proving invaluable. As they approached the central chamber, the sound of voices grew louder. "Wait here," Xalax whispered. "I will create a distraction." Before Jack could protest, Xalax moved forward, slipping into the chamber. Moments later, a commotion erupted, alien voices shouting in alarm. The team took advantage of the chaos, storming the chamber with precision. The room was vast, filled with Xandrian leaders. Xalax was at the center, engaging several guards. Jack and his team moved in, their weapons blazing. The element of surprise was on their side, but the Xandrians quickly regrouped, fighting back with fierce determination. Amidst the battle, Jack's focus was unwavering. He spotted the Xandrian High Commander, a towering figure exuding authority. Jack pushed forward, cutting through the melee, determined to reach him. The commander turned, their eyes locking in a moment of mutual recognition. "Stand down!" Jack shouted, his voice cutting through the noise. The commander hesitated, a flicker of doubt crossing their face. In that split second, Xalax seized the opportunity, disarming the commander and forcing them to their knees. "Call off your forces," Xalax demanded, his voice strong despite his injuries. "This war must end." The commander glared at Xalax, then at Jack. "You think this will change anything?" Jack stepped forward, his gaze intense. "We're offering a chance for peace. End this now, before more lives are lost." The commander's expression shifted, uncertainty giving way to contemplation. "Peace is a rare commodity. But perhaps it is time." With a reluctant nod, the commander issued the order. The sounds of battle gradually ceased, replaced by an eerie quiet. Xalax collapsed, his strength finally waning. Jack caught him, lowering him gently to the ground. "You did it," Jack said softly. "You gave us a chance." Xalax managed a weak smile. "It is a beginning." Sarah moved in, securing the area. The team worked quickly, ensuring the Xandrian leaders were restrained. The bunker, once a symbol of enemy strength, now felt like a place of potential reconciliation. As they prepared to extract, Jack couldn't shake the feeling that this moment was pivotal. Xalax's bravery had opened a door to a new future, one where humans and Xandrians might find common ground. They returned to their base, the weight of their success heavy on their shoulders. Xalax was immediately taken to the medical bay, his condition critical but stable. Jack stayed by his side, grateful for the alien sacrifice. "Commander," Sarah called, her voice filled with urgency. "We've received a communication from the Xandrian High Command. They want to discuss terms." Jack felt a surge of hope. "Set up the meeting. We need to see this through." In the days that followed, tentative negotiations began. The process was slow and fraught with tension, but there was progress. The war, which had seemed endless, now had a glimmer of an ending. Xalax's recovery was steady. He became a symbol of the potential for peace, a bridge between two worlds. Jack often visited him, their bond growing stronger with each passing day. "You fought well," Xalax said one evening, his voice stronger. "So did you," Jack replied. "We couldn't have done it without you." Xalax nodded. "Perhaps there is hope for us all."